Oh my God, you guys, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome to another episode of Dear Black Woman. We are a podcast featuring three Black women from different countries. I am your co-host, Cammie Red, and today I will be joined by my other co-host, Lauren Edwards, and Nicole, who is in Martinique at this time. But that's so good because we're diving into something that touches the core of who we are, our cultural heritage. In this episode titled Cultural Heritage, we're exploring how our traditions, languages, and customs have shaped our identities and given us a sense of belonging. We'll be sharing personal stories about how connecting with our heritage has brought us pride, purpose, and strength. We'll celebrate the incredible diversity of Black cultures across the globe. So if you've ever felt the power of your own roots or you're looking to embrace them more fully, this episode is for you. Hello, ladies.
Hey.
Clear my throat. Show up and show up.
Yes, Nicole. Yes. Oh, she's giving us Caribbean vibes today.
Okay, she's giving fabulous today. Okay. Good morning, ladies. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Good afternoon.
Oh, you've ditched us. You've ditched Europe to go to the other.
I'm so sorry, Lauren. I'm so sorry.
Don't apologize. She's like, I don't care. I'm sorry, Lauren. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry that you're in surgery.
Her sorry was so disingenuous this morning. She was like, "Oh,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry." Yeah.
Let me tell you, I am in Martinique right now, the land of my ancestors.
Amazing.
And it is just a glorious, beautiful place. Really.
Oh,
it really
amazing.
is.
Amazing.
That
Really
is so
is.
cool." All right, ladies. So let's talk about how our cultural heritage has shaped our identity and what aspects of your heritage are most significant to you. We'll start with you, Nicole, because you're right there in the place, okay?
In the place to be in the Caribbean representing.
Hey!
Yes, it is. It took me a while to realize the depth of what being a woman from Martinique means, because I grew up in Normandy, really removed from my heritage. I went for the first time to Martinique. I was 16. Let that sink in. And then I returned after 40 years.
Wow.
Yeah. But there's a sense of
You're going to leave
belonging.
it that this time, are you?
No.
There's a sense of belonging that I feel here. A lot of my family members are here. My dad is here. Oh, my aunt's cousins. It is rather special, I would have to
You
say.
look so happy.
No, you look like you're just you're ready to pack up not pack up. You're ready to just stay put.
Well, the sun is my friend. The sun is my friend.
Lovely.
Okay,
Yeah.
Lauren, let's talk about your heritage. Where are you originally from?
I don't know. Many places. Do you know what? Well, my mum's biracial, so my granddad is from Jamaica, my dad is from Jamaica, and my mum's half white, half Jamaican. And I have been to Jamaica probably 7-8 times. We used to go a lot when we were younger for summer holidays and stuff, when my mum reconnected with her dad. But we've got such a mixed family because my mum's more closer to her mum's side, who are mainly white. So I've kind of had to navigate through my Black side. I've been heavily involved in my Black heritage, Jamaican heritage. But then my brother is not so much, which is really weird. So we've been raised in the same household, but yeah, I'm probably tend to sway more to the black side, the Jamaican side. I listen to the music. I eat the food. Don't get me wrong. My brother eats the food. He listens to some of the music, but I think I'm more embraced. Like I'm always trying. If I can get to Jamaica, I'm there. Do you know? Because like that is me. So yeah, I think I've had to do a lot of work myself on where I'm from. You know, or where my grandparents are from, shall I say. And it's been a bit of a journey. I still don't really know fully what it is to probably go further than just my grandparents. I'd love to find out a bit more, because I don't, obviously when we talk about the Caribbean, that's not our origins, you see. So I'd definitely like to dive into that at some point in my life, see what I'd find.
Well, I'm African American, so it makes me a mutt.
But I think we can all say in some way, you know.
So my heritage goes as far back as slavery, but both of my grandmothers are of mixed race. My father's mother is black and white. My mother's mother is black and Indian. We have just done the studies to find out where our tribes are. We are Blackfoot Indians.
Wow.
So when I say I'm a mutt, I literally mean
Everything
it. Like
all in one.
everything all in one. So I'm Southern Black American, and that's what I know. We've all done DNA tests and to find out but I'm just finding out that some of those DNA tests are not right. They weren't right when they sent it. They're not accurate.
This is why I worry about them. I would like to, because like I said, I think anyone living or coming from the Caribbean, to dig a bit deeper, you'd probably find that you might have Nigerian roots or Ghanaian roots, or, so yeah, it would be very interesting. Look, right now, what roots have Nicole got? What roots has Nicole? Nicole ain't got a care in the world right now.
Let me tell you how the ancestors works.
Yes.
So, I am here to support my child, who is a filmmaker.
Yes.
And their movie going to be part of a film festival here in Martinique. And so last night, my niece, Sarah, called us and sent us some information. She found about 100 of our ancestors. Let me tell you, all the records, my great-grandmother, my great-great-great, because I had a DNA test with a company named MyHeritage. And somehow everything linked. And Sarah was able to come up with some information. We had the birth certificate of my grandmother, my great-grandmother. All the names popped up. We find out that we were free and that we own land.
Wow.
Oh.
So we were talking about that with Alison yesterday, and my niece. We were like, so what? So
where is it?
What? We were like, oh wow! So that it is just the most particular and the most amazing things. Like it feels like the ancestors manifested themselves, like in support
especially at this
of my
point.
child. Yes. It really feels that way. Like they're coming out just like, oh, we here.
You had to step back into your cultural land in order for them to say, hey, Nicole, hey, Allison, we are right here. We're here to support you. You are not alone in this process.
And that is so special. Allison was very, very touched by all of this, because the showing of the movie is today, and that all that information came the day before. Like, we here, we support you.
That is just incredible. It just seems to link everything together. Do you get what I mean?
But let me tell you, the ancestors have a way to show you they're here, they support you. That was wild. Yesterday was
Okay,
wow.
Nicole, I have a question for you.
Tell
How
me.
has reconnecting with your heritage sort of influenced your sense of pride and self-worth at this time?
There's no
Well, you
word
can
to
see,
express.
right? Can you
There's
see?
no
She's
word to
beaming.
express. There's no words to express how I feel. Knowing my ancestries, because it seems like my ancestors were kind of rebels or stuff like that. And I'm like, oh damn,
Really, Nicole?
like,
Really? Really? I don't know. I mean, you would never guess.
but it's just like,
Oh,
Did she freeze up?
I am home. I am
oh,
home, and it feels really special. It feels really special right now.
I love
It really
that. I
does.
love it.
It really
Now,
does.
are there any specific cultural or family traditions that you feel like you're going to carry forward, or when you leave, you're going to take with you?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, there's so many things I want to take with me. First of all, I want to be here more often.
she's not gonna.
Hello.
She's not taking with her. She's taking herself over. Yeah.
Winter in France, here in the Caribbean. Oh, okay, that's a
Yeah.
Yeah,
no-brainer.
so
Yeah.
that's what
But
she's going to do. When it turns cold in France, she's going to
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. But the thing that I really want to make a point of is really to stay in touch with a lot of my family members, and make sure that I see them on the regular. For those who are in France and when I am in Paris, to really take the time to spend some time with them.
How many of your
And
family members are actually in Paris?
we are all over. I have plenty of cousins and uncles on my mom's side that are here and also in France, in Paris, but
Okay.
also on my dad's side as well, because my dad had like 17 brothers and
Oh
sisters.
yeah. So they kind
I said it yesterday. Your granddaddy was a Rolling Stone, okay? Like he was getting
He
it in.
rem- Listen, he had a first wife, my grandmother, who passed away, and then he remarried and had more kids.
more children, just
He had
more. Just
12
go
more,
for it. Why not? You see what I mean? Don't worry
Yeah.
about how they're going to be raised. Just go for it. Then
Just
look
keep
after
But
each
talking
you
other.
know
about
what? Back then, having a big families was a sense of
Exactly.
pride.
it.
Exactly.
Was my grandmother
It
had
was.
11 kids. My father's mother had 11 kids. My mother's mother had 10 kids. So we
Wow.
talk about it like like it can't be done, but in reality,
But
that is something that they've done, and they were not rich. They were
No,
not rich at
yes,
all.
that's because
dynamic
we look
become
at things with our
example.
perspective, with our today perspective,
Yeah,
But back then, life was much simpler, and
Mhm.
most of my ancestors had land. So you have
Yes.
10 kids, you can feed your kids with your land. That makes my grandmother on my mom's side was going to the market sell her produce, you know,
Wow.
to sell her
So
produce.
you
So
still, I don't know if this is something probably culturally. I mean, I know it's probably it is a Caribbean thing. I don't know if it's an African thing or African American thing, but on a Sunday, that is like the most important sort of meal
it
that
is here
oh,
happens.
too. It is.
I'm gonna just say I think that's just the black thing
It's just a black
because
thing.
you forget there was a whole movie here
Yeah,
in the United States based around Sunday dinner. So I think that's just a black thing.
it
I
is.
think
It
Sunday
is like
is
Sunday
where
is.
we
And no
get
matter what
together.
happens, I mean, they could just be me, my son. Literally, it's like, nope, we will have our Sunday dinner. That's what you
Yeah,
do. You cook from scratch. It's
yeah.
your thing. It's like
One of
a
the things I don't know if you guys remember me telling you that when I stay with my grandmother, I'm one of her only grandkids that she allows to cook her Sunday dinner. Yeah.
everyone
Yes,
else
that's
out.
right. That's right. I remember you mentioned
Everyone
that.
go to
Yeah.
your grandmother's house for Sunday dinner. Then
They
carry on.
don't anymore, but they used to. So
Mm.
now, because she's gotten a little older, um, they try not to put that burden on her,
Yes, that makes
where
sense.
they all come over. Because you got to remember, so here's the thing about my dad's side of the family. There are 130 of us.
Whoa.
Yeah, and what I mean by that is these are 130 people that my grandmother is responsible for,
Wow.
meaning that from the 11 children that came out of her twat, they have since gone on to reproduce to the point that we are rabbits.
Wow. But then what I'm saying, does anybody sort of take that onus where, or even share the responsibility where someone will have a Sunday dinner at their
They
home?
they don't do it on Sundays. They do it more so on holidays. So on
Got you.
holidays, there are, each brother or sister will sort of take on that responsibility. But every Sunday, listen, my dad eats at my grandmother's house every Sunday. Okay. Every Sunday.
We
I
see
like
you,
how
sir. We see you.
Yeah.
the
He
thing
is
is
not gonna stop eating at my grandmama's house. He
it's
just
so sad
That's so
how
sweet.
we don't really do some of those traditions anymore, how those things have really faded out, because those are the things which kind of kept people, no matter what, kind of
kept us
together,
together as a family. But
regardless of,
it goes back to
even if you
what
wouldn't
Nicole
see
said.
you wouldn't see maybe a cousin or an auntie or something for 2-3 weeks, you would see them in a cycle at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And then now it's only been reduced to holidays. It's kind of like
Yeah,
getting
that's
less
because we're so dysfunctional now. We have a different way of thinking now.
social
Whereas,
media.
yeah, everybody's so, oh, I'm traumatized. My family has inflicted this trauma on me. The way I was raised was not right, so I'm going to disassociate myself with my family. Whereas back then, like when I was growing up, we didn't have a choice. Every summer, yeah, every summer we were at my grandmother's house, and it wasn't just me, it was all her grandkids. I have
Mm.
stories like when I go sit with my grandmother, she always makes me laugh because one of the things she remembers is how we broke her window in her living room. And we wouldn't tell on each other, like nobody would tell who did it. Okay.
So you all got the whooping.
Yep. So we all got a whipping for it. Like she said, and then she was so particular because in her house, and her house wasn't that big. Looking back at it, just how she, we had to think about it. My grandmother raised all of her grandkids as well. We
Wow.
all slept in the bed with her at one point
Yeah,
in time.
yeah.
Like we were head to toe in her bed. She had a California king bed. So during the summers, all of us would be at her house.
Wow.
Now, we broke her window and she literally lined us up and tried to get us to tell on each other. Nobody would tell. Nobody. So she also had this thing about not stepping in her dining room or her formal living room until Sundays. And if it was a footprint in that dining room or living room, she knew we weren't going to tell on each other. So she used to make us put our feet on the footprint to see, who it was. And it got to the point where we were like, well, we all wear the same size shoes.
Yeah, we're gonna wear the same size.
So it's not gonna matter. But that sense of family, that sense of togetherness, that sense of tradition has long left us. And that's a sad thing because truly that's what kept us all together as a culture. That's what actually strengthened our culture. The fact that we've gotten away from those moments, the fact that we're so filled with trauma from our childhood.
As well, social media.
Yeah.
Media allows you to think you've connected or kept up to date with a family member because you've seen them post something online, or you might have reached
You
out to
are
them
right.
on WhatsApp.
Yep.
And that's the difference. So what happens now is if I was to sit down and say, when was the last time you actually saw your auntie or your cousin or whatever, you might have to say,
Yeah.
oh, you mean see
You have
them?
a very good
Oh,
point.
it's probably been about 9-10 months, maybe a year, 2 years, 5 years. But because you might have seen them post something, or they might have just said hi, or that's happy birthday on your socials, you kind of count it as you've had some kind of contact.
Yeah.
When
The
really,
beautiful part that I loved, my grandmother's birthday was September the 9th. We went to a restaurant, and the restaurant only seated 45 people. I was so grateful because we had way more than 45 people show up. It was to the point that there was literally almost standing room only. So seeing all of my family, like I have an uncle who lives in Rochester, New York. He flew in.
wow.
And being able to post that on social media so people can really see how big and how wide my family is. There are cousins that I don't even know. And I'm going to be just completely honest with you, because I've lived out of town for so long. We may have all grown up together, but the space in between has been so long. Like, you're seeing them, you're like,
but
oh
I
my
bet
God.
you it doesn't compare to what was actually in the room that day. This is what I'm saying. Same thing with you, Nicole. You might think like, you know, some family members in Martinique or whatever, but when you're there, the spirit of everything that's going on around you is just a whole different, it must be a whole different, you know, feeling.
It really is. It really is.
I don't know, do you guys, I mean, this is why I think, like you said, is it a heritage thing or is it a Black thing? Because even when you look back to grandparents, great-grandparents that had plastic on their sofas, you could the glass cabinet that had
Didn't I just say about my grandmama's former living room and her dining room that you better not step into? Okay,
the
you
plastic
better
on
not.
the sofa.
My mom is so like that. Like the living room of my home in Normandy is just like stuck in the 70s.
When you sit on the plastic on the sofa,
No plastic
they've had
bed.
that
Nothing
sofa
stayed the
for
same.
35
Oh my
years.
God.
They've had that same couch for 35, 40 years with the
Yeah,
plastic
and my
on.
mom was like, "Yeah, no, I'm not changing it." She looks at she's 60, you know, she looked at me like, "What the fuck you're talking about?" No,
And
I'm
then
not
the thing
changing
about it
anything.
is, you can't sit, even with the plastic on. Don't sit on my sofa. Don't put that on my sofa. Yeah. Yeah, we had a whole living room, a whole separate living room for us to sit in on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Okay?
And the other one was like for when people,
When
and it's
guests
like I
came
said,
over.
I didn't know so this is why I think our being Black just crosses over into so many different
We have
cultures.
so many things in common. When I
Of
was in the
course,
US, I realized that. I was like, "Oh
exactly.
my God, we have
But
so many
no,
things
we're
in common."
getting back to the basis of this show. What we're showing people is, no matter where you are in the world, it's the same experience. Being black, like being black in
We speak
France.
different languages, but
Yeah.
It's all the
tell
same.
you.
Exactly. You could take the picture out and you'd see is that my grandmother's house? No, it's mine. No, it's my grandmother. No, it's it is really all of our grandmothers at some point.
Yes, exactly. Oh, that's so funny. That's so
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
So, ladies, what have you passed on to your children? How has, like, maintaining your heritage while also blending into other cultures, especially for you, Lauren, because your heritage is a little bit different. Your mom's white side of the family is totally different, whereas you culturally are assimilated with Black people. How has that carried on for you in your life?
So for me, what I've handed down to my children wholeheartedly, I'm heavily into reggae music, and when I mean reggae music, I'm talking. My dad was quite big in the music back in the 80s, so he had one of the first sort of record shops here, and he used to produce a lot of reggae music and something called Lovers Rock, which they kind of Lovers Rock is kind of like a mixture of soul and reggae, kind of, but it's a very British kind of, you know, genre, and he was quite into that, and a lot of reggae artists from Jamaica. So I love old reggae music, like that is so I play that, like my children know it. They're like, oh, here she goes. And my mom, but the good thing is my mom is into it, and my mom will say, how you know about this song? And I'll be like, what do you mean I know about this? I know about this song because of you. And then my children will be singing. I'll be like, how do you know about this song? So it's so nice to pass down. And even though you've got all this new stuff, the dance hall, this, that, and then whenever we come together, family or not, the reggae music's the first thing we bring.
That is so cool.
I can't wait to come to one of your family functions.
the big speakers, the sound
Yeah.
system. But I would say it's weird because where my mum grew up was, and her brothers and sisters, it was still in an urban black area. They grew up in a black area, so they still have, like, my aunts, and so all my aunties, they all have white children, but then their youngest is mixed race, and so, and all, like, the white women in the family are with black men, and all the white men are with black women. Like, so there is a proper, it is, so it's not like it's just straightforward. Gary's like, what? So it's
That's
not like
interesting.
it's straightforward. Like, I've got my white cousins and my white male cousins, and they all tend to go for really dark skin, Caribbean women. So, and they're into the music, they're into reggae, they're into dancehall, they're into the food. So even though I have got that, they are very much on the side of the black culture. So so I've been quite lucky that I've never had to really water down what I'm about, really, because when we go to family functions, it gets turned out all the way.
Okay. Like I said, I cannot wait to come to one of your family functions. Okay?
It's just bass. It's just bow, 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 bow. That's what you just hear. Like
bass. Look, bass and everybody slow whining.
Yes, yeah. Go on, Nicole, give us a demonstration. Come on. Nicole. You're feeling the vibes right now. Give us a demonstration.
What have you passed down to Allison by way of your cultural heritage? And let me just say this. It's been a lot because Allison is a filmmaker. And if I'm not mistaken, what is her film about?
About our family, actually.
Thank you. So you passed down quite a bit. Yeah.
The thing is, I'm not so sure if I can quantify it per se. I think that's all that I was always very, very black in the way that I do things, I believe, even though for a long time I wasn't thinking of it, but it's when I was in the US that I really started thinking about it, because
you were able to celebrate your blackness a little bit more here, or what do you think?
Absolutely. I felt welcome and I felt seen in the US, unlike in France. You really do. Because there's a really you people are cool peeps.
Well, look,
kids are cool peeps. You just
had to
you feel like you're at home.
Part about it is we've had to fight for that. So I love the fact, like, talking to you ladies really makes me appreciate being black in America more than you actually know. Because
on the flip side, you get a lot of negative press as well. Don't you think, Nicole? Like I've got a lot of people here. Like, America was sort of the ultimate dream for me and quite a lot of my friends and stuff to move. But now it doesn't seem so attractive because of the things that are happening to black people. So one of the things that, like you said, Nicole, that made it so attractive and so like, I want to get that, I want to be a part of this. Actually, people are going, if you say, do you want to move to America now? It's like, not really.
But see, that's my point. Like, we fought very hard to get to a place where other black people outside of the world thought or deemed this to be one of the locations that was a good place for them to come to. But now the reality of it is you guys are getting to experience through the media what our lives are like on a regular basis. So that's why I said, even talking to you all sometimes makes me appreciate being black in America. Even though we still face a lot of challenges and we go through a lot of things, I'm listening to Nicole talk about how she doesn't feel seen or heard in France, and how, you talk about not finding men that are of a certain caliber, but you come here to America and there are black men who are doctors, who are lawyers, different things like that. So I'm appreciating that a little bit more, being a Black American, and understanding that the way we look even though we feel like we are bottom of the totem pole, downtrodden, stepped on, all of that, but the way it looks to other people in the world, we have way more things going on. We have way more, we're educated more. We have business owners here. We live in nice houses here. We live in affluent areas. We run cities. We run towns. Different things like that. So that could be appealing. Whereas the flip side is our everyday reality. And I had a conversation with a friend of mine who's white, a guy, about raising a Black man in America and having to have a conversation with my son at 7 about how to act when he's encountering the police, how to be when he's out in public, how to ignore certain things, so that those are the things that I live with on a regular. But each of you remind me that there are some things that I should also be grateful about living here.
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
the only other place you can really probably compare certain things to is if you was to go to certain countries in Africa or certain parts of the Caribbean. I mean, I don't know how you feel, Nicole, about the Caribbean, but I know you were saying yesterday, like, look, I'm home and whatever, but I do find like in places like Barbados and places like only some parts of Jamaica, the lighter skinned you are, or the white Jamaicans and light skinned Jamaicans tend to have higher roles, powerful roles. They're never really given to, a dark skinned Jamaican. It just tends to be, and I think I don't know if that's something that you've experienced in Martinique as well. Is that in Martinique?
Colorism
Yeah,
is present.
yeah, yeah.
Colorism is present, but I believe things are changing. And just to go back a bit about what Camille was saying is that in France and probably in the UK as well, the news and the way that Americans are portrayed is really said that Americans are wilding out. Which when you live in America, when you are being with them every day and you see how things are changing,
Nope.
I think she froze up.
Yeah,
because the
you
thing
froze.
You froze for a
Americans,
minute.
because you have to fight. Oh, yes, because Americans had to fight historically, it's just you guys don't take shit anymore.
No.
No, no.
I've found Black people being very subdued in France, and that
Yeah,
to me that is
you say
bothersome.
that, but I think we in the UK always look at France like they don't take shit. We always make jokes about that. Yeah, we make jokes like, listen, if this was France, this place is getting burnt down. Like every minute we would say something like, like
That's
in the UK,
interesting.
I think has got the most amount of we are we are a country of people that just roll over and take it.
You know
We
what made me feel good? And this is something sort of stemming from America. The George Floyd incident woke us up to how much people pay attention to Black culture in America.
Yeah.
Because it was an incident that occurred here in America, but it gave voice to Black people all over the world. Like that gave me chills seeing people in the UK
everywhere,
protest and get
everywhere,
upset and saying, hey,
Hmm.
we're Black too, and we're
everywhere.
going through some of those same things. And it wasn't just there, it was in France, it was all over the world.
They ripped down
Yeah, because
statues. I mean, I've never seen people come together like that. They ripped down
let me
statues.
tell you,
They made road
black
names
men get killed and abused. Yeah.
Was in France? Did they do the same sort of thing in France, Nicole? Because I didn't see.
There's plenty of things that are happening. It's because people are not like people, pointing the fingers to America, but we are not treated better.
No.
We are not treated better.
I
We
mean,
are not treated
we had
better.
an incident here where an athlete, she's a team Olympic athlete. She represents Great Britain, and fiance, was in the Olympics and he represented Portugal. They're both black, and they got pulled over in the UK by the police with their newborn baby that was 1 week old, and arrested and pushed face and get out the car, 1 week year old. Oh, we can smell weed. These are Olympians. They're Olympic athletes. And in the end, because it was filmed, the police had got suspended because obviously they were pushing his face, they were, creating a scene. She's going, my baby. You can imagine you've got a 1 week old baby in the back, and they're yanking you out of a car and stuff. So they got suspended, but they've just been given back their jobs, all the police, after doing
let's talk about
in America, something like this would not go.
No. So yes, it would actually, it'll be okay. So let me just say this. Yes, we do fight. Yes, we do protest, but that does not stop it from happening.
No.
Every day in America, a black man is murdered by the police. Every day in America, a white police official is let go or released from their being a target of a criminal investigation. And I don't mean just black men. They kill our children here. They kill women here as well. There was a story recently about a young lady where they were supposed to be doing a welfare check on her. They were in her house and a police officer shot her dead in her kitchen. All because he said he feared she was going to throw hot water on him.
Shall I tell you the other thing? That's a massive problem here, is that part of them thinks that there's not enough police, so they'd rather keep the crap that they've got than actually have less police. So they're just like, look, we haven't got enough police anyway. There's not enough people going into the police. And the ones that are probably a bit... So they're like, what can we do? It's either we have no police or we keep the ones that... That's why you've got in the UK, it's gone crazy. It's gone crazy here. So we are simulating a lot of stuff, not to the extent, Cami, of what you are, but there's a lot of things that are happening and have been happening for many years. I think it's just social media allows for bystanders to film it now, and bystanders have... where you might see a young black boy that's yanked out of his car. You've been selling drugs. You've been doing this. You've got people now that have come out and film it now.
And what I love is you can watch TikTok, and I love white allies. I'm going to say that. Yeah. What they will do is if they see a black person, specifically a black man, being pulled over by the police, they will pull over to the side of the road across the street, out of the interference from the police, because they don't want to be, and they will film the interaction, which keeps the police accountable. Now, do the police like it? Absolutely not. They don't like it, because
I think the issue is what happens after. Because you can have all the footage and all the evidence you want. The problem we've got is the after bit, right, Nicole?
They don't get prosecuted for their crimes, and that's sort of like what and here we're going to sway off of politics in a few minutes. What's going on with Donald Trump? He can't be persecuted for his crimes because now the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled that presidents can't be held responsible for crimes that they commit. Donald Trump is a 34 times felon. They have literally...
You can't write this. And this is why across the world, the U.S. are becoming a laughing stock because of him. Because of what they allow him with this man.
Well, ladies, let's
actually, you need to be precise. You need because of him, but the white laws that maintain.
I was going to say it's not just because of him. Let me explain something to you all. Donald Trump is a character. And I mean that with every essence of everything in my body. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is he's playing a role. Go back to some of his early years and early things that he did. So I like to talk about this because I wrote a book about this. And I wrote a book about running your business and marketing the way that presidents run for office and run for election. One of the things that I discussed is what Donald Trump does. And when I say this, you're going to recognize it. Donald Trump does what's called the Nixon effect. That is where he plays upon the fears of the lowest people in the
Yeah.
country. He has done that for years. The first time he ran for president, it was against the Muslims, and it's always been against the Hispanics. So when he first decided he was going to run, he was actually in California, and he was toting around Black families with him. Okay. And he was talking about how these Black people had suffered massive losses, because of the immigrants that were coming into the country illegally. Then he switched up and he started talking about how the Muslims were taking over our country, and he wanted white people to live in fear of what was going on in Afghanistan, and what's been going on in Central Africa type of locations, the Middle East. He ran off of that. Now, oh my God, one of my favorite commercials from him, because I get a laugh out of it every time it comes on the TV. There is an ad where he's talking about Kamala Harris, and what he says in the ad is, she's not going to protect people like us.
Sorry.
What?
Yeah. So he's got two ads.
Wow.
One of them where he has this white lady talking. They're talking about immigrants coming over here and how her sister dated this guy who was an immigrant, and the sister was end up being killed and raped by this guy. First of all, that's your sister's bad choice. So the ad goes on to say that Kamala isn't going to protect people like us. So
And
what
neither
does that
are
mean?
your police force.
Yeah.
And neither are your police force, by the way.
And that's how we feel. The police aren't going to protect people like us. They never do.
No.
But let's steer away from politics, and let's get into
heritage.
Back to heritage. Now, I want to ask you guys, have you ever experienced a time where you felt disconnected from your cultural heritage? And if so, what did you guys do to reconnect? Well, you know what? Let me say this. Nicole is doing it right now. Okay, to reconnect and rediscover your heritage. Nicole is literally doing that.
Yeah. I feel like I'm always reminded of trying to connect with my heritage and my culture every October when it's Black History Month here in the UK.
That's February for us. Yeah.
And
we have none in France. None.
That is awful. I mean, ours is bad anyway. But
that's crazy to me, Nicole, because I believe the Statue of Liberty was given to the United States, and it's supposed to be a statue that was built around a Black woman. That is
Have
crazy.
You seen my face? He practicing.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. You only get the corporates, you know, where I work and stuff, and local authorities. They want you to tell your story. Come and tell us about your Blackness. Come to us. Rest of the year, we don't care. But in October, come and talk come and be Black for 1 month. come and talk about your roots for 1 month. And I can't stand it. It's probably the one time. Don't contact me about anything. Don't make me do anything. I'm not interested. Ring me another part of the year and then we can talk. But I don't want to know just for this month, just so you can tick that box. It's
I agree.
Yeah. I live in Atlanta, and you guys know this. This is a very Black-centered
Atlanta
location.
is Black all day, every day.
Yeah, Black History Month all the time, baby. Every month.
We're actually, and I'm going to be honest with you, we are a part of Black history, so we live it. So, for instance, when I talk to people about Auburn Avenue, which is where Dr. Martin Luther King's home was, where he grew up, those things, and you know, I see my culture every day. I see my Blackness every day. So I live here and I'm from here, but that's not the only place I've lived. I was in Texas for 5 years. It was very hard unless you live in a major city like Dallas or Houston. When you go out into the rural parts of America, it is very hard to reconnect with who you are. And sometimes it's shunned upon. Like, being a Black American, you guys know I have the curly hair and I'm afroed out all the time. Well, that's you know how you see the videos of people pulling people's hair and looking at people's hair, even with braids. Some places that I travel to in Florida, when you go to resorts, white men are always touching my hair. Oh, this is so pretty. How do you get your hair like this? White women as well. Oh my God, I love your afro. I love your curls. They're so beautiful. Thank you for recognizing my culture and recognizing me. But I'm Black 24/7, sweetheart. All day, every day. And at least over there in the UK, Lauren, you guys get 31 days. We get the shortest month of the year. We get February. We get
Let me
28
tell
days
you,
here
I
to
tell you
celebrate
what
it.
as well, like on TV, like on the television, like when I first came to the States many years ago and I was switching over, I'm like, they got Black people on TV, like, whereas in the UK, whenever they put anything Black on, it's past 11 p.m. basically 2 a.m., 1 a.m. Yeah, Black films like The Best Man and The Wood and all that ain't coming on till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. So it's only now that you might have the record button on your thing that you can record it. But back in the day, you would have to wait until like 11 o'clock at night before you could see a Black film.
Wow.
Because that would then tip what they're doing. So when you complained, you say, well, they'd say, hold on a minute, yeah, we've scheduled this amount of stuff for Black people, or the Black eye, shall I say. But really the time of day it was coming on was ridiculous. So yeah. But
What advice would you ladies give to someone who is struggling to embrace or understand their cultural heritage?
Do research, ask questions. Your family members are going to be able to tell you things. In my case, both my grandparents were dead, so I don't have a grandmother or a granddad to go to, and that I really miss. But I still have some uncles and cousins that tell me about the history of our family. And my mom was really good at telling us all of our stories, and all the things that she had said when I was a kid show up now in all those ancestors that are showing up in my ancestry. She had mentioned everybody, and I was like, wow. So the thing about as well, the oral tradition need to be
Yeah.
kept because it's
We've
a
gotten
great
so
thing.
far away from that. So
that's what I was
far.
about
Yeah.
to say. And also I was really surprised. They've got like this thing here in the UK, which is like it's like a event portal, like where everyone can put their events or things that are happening. And I know it's there, but for some reason I typed in Black, just typed in Black, and all these things come up with different cultural things that are happening across London, being so multicultural.
Mm,
I wasn't even aware of. They're not advertised everywhere. They're not, but there are things in your local cities and stuff. So I would say to people, just Google, have a look at what events that are going on, because I know
yes.
they had like they have like the Windrush exhibition here in the UK that tells you all about when our grandparents got put on the boat over to the UK, and their experiences and stuff like that. So you can go and look at exhibitions. You can go and I think they've got like a walk in the UK as well, like a Black History Walk. It's something these things are the things I would look out to do, because it doesn't necessarily have to come from family. It can just be in your local area or where you live.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here in the United States, I'm going to just be honest. They are starting to erect Black history museums in various cities. Here in Atlanta, you can go on a Black history tour that takes you to some of those parts. They have a Black history museum, I believe, in Birmingham and in Selma, Alabama. They have
Yep.
one in Ohio. They have a few places. But again, our culture is so rich here because we fought for it to be that way. Like
Mm.
we
Yeah.
fight every day. We, like you said, how they were tearing down statues in the UK over the George Floyd thing. They're doing that here still every day.
See what I
They're,
mean? And that's the
yeah,
difference. We die down. We
yeah.
die down. We put it down. We put our tools down, and we kind of like, okay, we done our bit now.
All right, ladies, let's look at our last question that I have for you all. In what ways do you see our younger generations either embracing or moving away from their cultural roots? And how would you encourage them to take pride in their heritage? Let's start with you, Nicole, because you and that fan over there in Martinique is giving life.
She's
Can I
got the
say,
outfit on and everything.
yeah, but just supporting my child. But the thing is, with Allison, they were always very black from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
And because her dad is African, I
Wow.
think, you know, they are rebellious and inquisitive and all those things. And I think that what makes a black person that wants to do things for their community, and me, but just being there by really doing research as well. And I really want to have some time to do this and get to know more as well, so we can share things together. They are teaching me a lot of things, actually. So it's kind of a journey that we are taking together, and it's really cool. I have to say, it's really cool. Yeah.
Okay, Lauren, what do you think?
Um, do you know what? I just think find something that means a lot to, like I said, for me, it's the music. Find something that
Yeah.
means a lot, that brings you together, whether it's food, whether it's a gathering. I mean, in the UK, like they love like a christening. That is a massive thing. When you have a christening of a baby, it's party, party, party.
Yeah.
Just find something and always kind of make sure, for me, just make sure that your children know how important it is to keep it going. Like for me, like I said, it's music. So every week you'll hear me, blasting out the music, and my children need to listen to it. They're not going to tell me that it's too loud. They're not going to tell me that, oh mom, why are you playing this again? No, we're going to play it over and over again until you understand it.
Yeah. I think it really gets back to the point of getting back to those traditions, even though in this day and age, we don't really like to be traditional, this, that, and the third, or that's just the perception that's given. I think it's got a lot to do with getting back to those traditions of what we used to culturally do, because it sounds like it's not just an American culture or UK culture or Caribbean culture. It's a Black cultural thing.
Mhm.
And if we get back to some of those traditions of gathering together around food, enjoying music without, the pretense, honoring our ancestors, honoring our elders, get out of this mindset of selfishness and me, then we would be able to see our cultural heritage a little bit different than what we're
Mhm.
seeing it now. Because I'm like you, some of the things that we are used to doing are dying away. Some of the things that we are used to having a part of our lives are dying with certain generations. So we need to sort of pick up the torch and move forward. Some of us in our mid ages are sort of lackadaisical in making our children participate in things. But if I'm not mistaken, my grandmother and my father made me do
Have
so
no,
many things that I didn't want to do. And now we're like, oh, children should have a choice. But is that really helping our children or is it hurting them? I think we should definitely focus more on the cultural aspects of things and how we're losing our culture and how we're being assimilated into other cultures and
yes,
how we are not really focused. We're like, oh, it's okay, but it's not okay.
no,
It's not okay.
Yeah.
You're right. You are right. I think you, like you said, I think it's just a black culture thing where we're just moving away and technology's taken over and all these other things outside have just taken over. And we've just got to kind of try and, even if it's something small, just make sure it's embedded, you know?
Yeah. All right, ladies. Well, we are going to wrap up today's conversation. Nicole, before we wrap up today's conversation, spin that camera around and show
No,
us
let
all where
us
you are.
see. Let us
You know, I
picture.
was just waiting for that. You know, I was
Yeah.
waiting for that.
Ah,
Look
Have
at
you. This is
ah,
my view. And
oh.
Look at
yeah,
the water. Do you guys see the water over there? That is
listen,
so beautiful.
the sun this morning set right there on this
Beautiful.
veranda, and it was just perfect because we saw the sun in the morning and the birds there were hummingbirds and all kind of little birds coming in this morning. It was glorious. My God, it
Nicole,
was so
we're very
morning.
jealous of you right
I
now. So
know.
we're
How
gonna
many
get
more?
right.
How many episodes have we got to do before Nicole's back in France? Because that's the one I'm
It's
coming
this
back for.
episode and next episode. So next
Yeah,
week she'll be in Martinique still,
Uh,
okay? So
and
you will have to
I'll be
suffer.
darker, and I'll be darker
okay,
because the sun and I are friends.
I'm gonna go and lay on the sunbed now, guys. I'm gonna go and lay on a sunbed, a tanning bed.
Listen,
Okay.
I just cannot wait for all of us to be here
I
and
know,
to do a
Yes.
right?
podcast here.
Wow.
So
Can
Yes.
you
I'm putting
I'm
this
imagine?
into
excited
existence.
about that. Okay.
You know, because
Yes.
Lorraine, after that, you can go and jump to Jamaica because it's not going to be that far.
Hey, no, we
Oh,
can jump to Jamaica.
We
Hold
all
on,
let
no
can.
me
one at
tell
you.
you though. Let me tell you though. At the end, in December, there's a Caribbean airline company that's going to be linking Martinique, Guadeloupe to all the other island, Barbados, and all that
Oh,
This
so
stuff.
that's
Chloe.
watch this.
You
That's
can,
gonna be easier for us to do a Caribbean tour, correct?
Wow.
this is why I
She
wanted to
said,
put that.
I can jump over to Jamaica. Hold on. Is it not we can jump over to
We can
Jamaica?
jump over to.
Hey, what do you
No,
mean?
Nicole
Give
said
us
she's
one
not
goes on
leaving
tour.
Martinique. Okay, she is
I'm,
home
I'm
in
going to be
Martinique.
listen, the thing that we were talking with the local actually 2 days ago with Alison, where we were having lunch. And the guy was telling us that basically Martinique to Senegal, it's only a 4-hour flight.
Wow.
Wow.
So
Really?
listen to this. All those big companies, they don't really want to have a black triangle deserving all the Caribbean, Africa, and they don't.
Imagine.
So I'm putting this out there because there's enough black billionaire to make this shit happen.
Go
Okay.
on, Nicole. Go and marry your first billionaire. Let's go.
Oh, Nicole,
But
she just spoke that
honestly,
into existence
we need
for
to
you.
create like
Put it in
other
the.
airlines
Oh,
Uh-oh, she froze up a little bit.
that Caribbean, and you know, because it's a damn shame when you
oh,
see all the things like this. You
this
know,
is it.
we should be
Yes.
able to go from island to island, whether it's a French island, an English island. We should all be able to do
Link
business
up.
and communicate much more easily.
Yes.
You
All
know,
right,
in
ladies.
December we'll be able to.
We will. We will. We will. We
Just
will.
saying.
Okay, ladies, we're going to wrap up today's show.
Guys.
Nicole is in beautiful Martinique celebrating her life, her
Oh,
heritage, and congratulations to Allison for her
congratulations,
film. We're
Alison.
so very proud of
Yeah,
you. Yes. And
yeah.
Lauren over in London, what is the weather like over there? Is it
It's
getting
sunny
cold?
today. No, it's sunny today. For once, listen, that's why I didn't mind doing this today because it's actually sunny. But you know what? If it's raining next week, Nicole, forget it. I ain't coming on. I ain't coming on this show next week. I will not.
Because Nicole will still be in Martinique.
No,
Okay.
Yeah,
no. So
All right,
yeah.
ladies. Thank you all so
thank
much.
you. Thanks, Cami.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Nicole.
Camille. Oh, Lauren, it was lovely to see you, lady.
Okay, ladies. So The book says learning about your history and culture can be empowering. It connects you to your roots and provides a deeper understanding of who you are. Celebrate your traditions, your customs, and your language. They are part of you and a testament to your resilience and your strength of your ancestors. So again, as you all know, ladies, this podcast is built off of a book called Dear Black Woman. And I want to just say thank you for joining us today on this podcast. We hope that this conversation about cultural heritage inspire you to reflect on the richness of your own roots, the ways that they shape who you are. Embracing where we come from can give us the strength, pride, and purpose in the present. And we hope this episode encourage you to celebrate your own heritage, get together with your family, and talk about those traditions that have long since left. Now, if you enjoyed today's discussion, please share it with someone who might need a reminder of this. Also, don't forget to like, share, and follow us. And we have something new coming. We do have a Dear Black Woman magazine that will be digital and in print. So I will be giving information about that. And I will be dropping the link on next week's episode so that you can log on, subscribe. Now, we often talk about leaving your videos, leaving us messages. You can actually upload your videos and your messages to our website starting next week. And a special thank you to Rabbit Productions for the music that keeps our conversation flowing, the intro and outro music. And until next time, you guys, stay proud, stay rooted, and keep honoring your story.